everybody, and welcome back once again. Another edition of Inside the Headset. Here we are, week 1, game 2. I'm with the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. Well, coach, I get the first crack at it. You played Sunday, not a whole lot of time to recover. I'm going to let you take the wheel here in a second, but Sunday you played, got done about 2:30. And then from there, I got to be honest with you, back of my legs, I felt like I was just going to fall over. We left that game, and then, you tried to recover on Monday. I can't imagine having somebody try to chase me down and beat me up, and much less try to get a practice in on Tuesday, and now we're here at Wednesday. What's been going on? And just give us the capsule.
As far as just, recovery and just the overall feel, it's obviously extremely hot and different set of circumstances than you normally, are in for a week 0 game. I wouldn't change it. It was a great experience for everybody. I thought it was a great game. Obviously, we didn't play well enough to win, but just to be a part of something like that, was pretty special. Haven't really watched the ESPN version of it, but from what I've heard, it was, very well done, and I think, arguably probably the best game of the weekend over their kickoff weekend is, maybe the best one that they had on the whole weekend. It was a great game, but it's been a long week. It's been a long couple of weeks preparing for this. Like to think it's a letdown, but to be honest with you, we don't have time to have a letdown. We got to go back to work, and get prepared for this Friday short turnaround. Obviously, extra fatigue, et cetera, with all the stuff that's gone on. So, what I'll say is, we met as a staff on Monday, evaluated the film. Obviously did that Sunday night, but met as a staff on Monday, made some changes personnel-wise, things that, we think we got to do to get corrected, and then, started a game plan for White Station. And yesterday we practiced, and I couldn't believe the attitude and, just the enthusiasm, everything. Just really proud of our kids, considering that, it's a big letdown. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for us. I've been saying all spring and summer, we've probably been put on a pedestal too high that we hadn't earned, and a lot of that has to do with offers and stars and all that. And it's all part of the process now, but it doesn't dictate the play on the field. And I don't want to take anything away from our kids, but I just felt like in the end, in the war of attrition that took place, they wanted it a little bit more than us in the end. They made a couple more plays than we did, and that was the difference. But that being said, we responded really well yesterday. Just so proud of the way we practiced, considering you only had 1 day of rest,
right?
And the fatigue that took place on Sunday, because we had a lot of guys at the end that were spent. So we'll move forward. Short week to get prepared for a very talented team, but I think our kids will respond, and like I said, if yesterday was any indication, we've kind of moved on, erased that from the memory bank, and gone forward. So just excited to see what we do Friday, and hopefully get that that taste out of our mouth.
Run us through the game like you do, nobody else can do it, but anyway, run us through that game Sunday. As far as where did you think that you felt like the team they wasn't in it like Blackman was? You speak of that. Just at what point do you feel like that was?
I don't really know, because I haven't had a whole lot of time to dwell on it. I've only watched the game probably 4 or 5 times, and I usually watch it a lot more than that, so I haven't watched it as much as I normally would, because we've got to get ready for White Station.
Right.
And because we can't, I watched it enough to figure out the things that we got to get fixed immediately. But, again, it's not any disrespect to our kids. I just felt like from the get-go, their kids were more excited. Their kids were more enthusiastic. They had a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. They had more pep in their step. Whatever you want to say, I don't know. It just seemed to me like, we were up 14-7, or maybe we were up 21-14. I don't know, but we had the momentum, and we threw an interception right out the gate after we got the ball back, and it was like we were down. Like we don't handle adversity very well right now. And so that's what I'm saying. Maybe this was a good opportunity for us to get humbled. I know they've handled it well moving forward. I know that after the game there were a lot of them that were upset. That I know that it meant a lot to them. But we got to come together collectively and start playing for one another, and then also go back to having fun. You know, I don't think we had much fun considering the circumstances and the crowd and just the whole atmosphere. It didn't seem like we were having as much fun as they were. And you know, it was a back and forth game. It was a game of, you know, very few plays that made the difference, and they made the plays when it mattered. Their best players made the biggest plays when it mattered, and ours didn't, if you want to break it down to simplest terms. But, you know, turnovers were key. Field position was key. Not that we didn't have good field position at times, because we did, but it's like the pendulum. Whenever it swung our way, we immediately pushed it back to their side. You know, we didn't take advantage of the momentum that we got. And I mean, case in point, you know, we took the opening drive right down the field and scored. You know, as a defense, you got to bow up and get off the field quickly so we can get the ball back and start taking the life out of them. They go down the field and score. So, you know, it's not pointing fingers, obviously.
No, that wasn't what I was.
No, but it's obviously, you know, I'm disappointed in our defensive performance. You know, it's pretty sickening to wake up and read, you know, what one of the young men's opinion of the game was. I don't play the game, so you know, I can't control what one of their players has to say about what they felt like they did to us. But I know if I was a player, how I'd take it. So, you know, like I said, we'll either learn from it and get better, and you know, and then just get on our knees and pray that we'll get another chance to play them, or it won't happen. But right now, we got our one shot at them. We didn't take advantage of it, and whatever they say moving forward, they've earned that right to say. So, just I don't know. You know, they were the better team that day. That's the bottom line. You can say what you want, but on that particular day, they wanted it more. They made more plays. They were the better team than us. So we got to learn from it. We got a lot of good teams we got to play, and there's a lot of time. I've already got people asking about what if you get to play in week 12 or 13. I need to worry about week 1. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got 9 games, and I've seen enough from some of these other people to know that there's some good teams we have to play, and it's not, you know, it's not hurry up and wait on the rematch. You know, it's like last year it was hurry up and wait on that game for week 9, and now it's the same problem 2 days removed from the game. It's everybody texting and calling and emailing saying, hey, you'll get them again in the playoffs, y'all get your revenge. And I'm like, man, this week 0. So
if
we got a long
you
way
get
to
to that
go.
point, there's 12 more to go.
Exactly. So we got it over with. They're a better football team than us. They deserve to beat us, and I have nothing but respect for what they were able to do. And I feel like we'll learn from those mistakes. And you know, I think our kids even know we did play good enough to win the game, and they didn't. I don't think we've made any excuses as a team, and our kids haven't either. We just got to get better. And like I said, maybe at the end of the day, we'll look back and say, hey, that was the best thing that happened to us.
You had a few nicks at the playground. A couple of guys got scuffed up. Talk a little bit about that.
It's a rough playground. I mean, man, it was a physical game, and you know, they got a great team. Physical as all get out, and really was proud of our defensive line, man. I thought our defensive line, considering the size of their front, we're not that big up front on defense. That's probably, if you just look at us, that's probably the weakness of our team. Well, we're not very big at defensive end, and our 2 interior guys are, you know, really good players, but they're not huge. They're both 265. But I thought Anthony Akers and Ty Nix did a great job of staying in there and taking that pounding all day. We didn't play as good on second and third level, but to be as good as we're supposed to be at linebacker, I thought if you know anything about the football, it didn't take long to figure out that we weren't making enough plays there. And then our safeties didn't tackle well in the open field. But Charlie ran with a lot of aggression. I mean, he played very physical, and he finished runs, you know. And from a football's perspective, just someone that likes the game, you know, I was really impressed with the way he ran the ball. That being said, you know, we had several kids go out inopportune times with cramps. They did as well, so it's part of it. But they had kids go out we had kids go out with cramps, and then Josh Smith had a back issue that's been bothering him, and Jack Jones hurt his knee, and Anthony Akers, kind of had some heat exhaustion issues. So again, battle of attrition, man. It was just hang on at the end there, and it stinks that it happened that way, but you knew it was going to be the case just because of the heat. I mean, but again, I go back just to the morale or momentum or whatever you want to say, but it's 28-21. 4 minutes to go in the game. We got the ball on the 27-yard line. Just got a big run, and it's third down, I think. And we had a lot of momentum. It looked like they were going through some of the same struggles we were, having to rotate people in on defense.
Fresh guys.
And we were out of tailbacks. I mean, our key guys weren't in the game to run the ball, and we fumbled it at a very bad moment. And that was kind of the ending of our opportunity. But that wasn't what won or lost the game. There's a lot of things within the game that determines the outcome. But we had a lot of guys step up. We had some guys that I don't think played up to their potential. And, in the end, it's all about the team. And we, as a team, didn't play good enough to beat them. And they thought, I don't know, physically, I thought both teams played, very hard. I thought it was a both sides of the ball. But, I think, I'm a numbers guy too. Obviously they won the turnover battle. I think they won the field position battle. We couldn't rush the football the way we should have, and I thought a lot of that was on our play calling, but some of it was a multitude of things. But we didn't run the football as effectively as we should, considering at times it looked like we really had some things going in the run game, but just consistency-wise, we didn't run it as well as I would have liked. But like I said, that pendulum moving back and forth, we got up 14-7, I think, or maybe 21-14, I can't remember. But when we were up after a score, we kick off and we bust contain again. Charlie Davidson goes all the way across the grain on the kickoff coverage and runs it for about 55, 60 yards, So can't do those things.
Yeah.
Can't happen in a game like that, of that magnitude. And every time we seem to get the momentum, they would swing that thing back the other way. So credit to them. They're a dang good football team.
Chapter closed. You'll probably have to do one more, but that's about it. Let's close that chapter and let's move on. You got a game Friday night.
Yeah.
And White Station's coming in, and they took a little beating last week from Panola, but talk about them, give the Oakland fans, because if they didn't travel to Memphis, this is your turf a little bit. If they didn't go to the Memphis game last year, if they come out Friday night, what are they going to see?
Well, two things. I mean, I've said this before, but if you base it off of what they do against South Panola, then you're going to get a skewed result. Because if you know anything about South Panola, you know that there's a little different level of football.
Oh yes,
played there. So they got about as tough of a 3-game stretch as anybody. I mean, that's with me saying that we're playing Blackman, White Station, and then Siegel, but White Station opened up with South Panola, then plays us, then plays Whitehaven. So their 3-game stretch is very difficult. What you're going to see from them is you're going to see a spread, no huddle offensive, and you're going to see a lot of athletes on the perimeter personnel-wise. I mean, they're going to be as athletic as anybody in our league as far as skill position goes. Defensively, they're going to be a lot more unorthodox than anybody you would see in our league. And what I mean is they're going to put 8 guys up there like on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to play man free, and they're going to beg us to throw the football. So they did it last year. They'll do it again this year. They're not going to be scared of our receivers, even though we have some dynamic playmakers at receiver. They're not.
They think they can cover them in man.
That's right. They're going to play man coverage, and they're going to try to stop us from running the ball by putting more numbers in the box than we can block. So very athletic, good kids. White Station's a great academic place, but they're going to pass the look test when they come out there, and they've had a little more time to rest than we have, so that's a concern. Obviously, they have to make that trip, but it'll be interesting to see how we respond. I mean, I think we got to get off to a fast start. We need another 2 good days of practice like we had yesterday. And again, I mean, yesterday was just such a surprise and just made me feel really good about where we're headed. When you add the defeat and you add in the fatigue and you add in, I mean, there's 4 or 5 kids have to miss practice that are key cogs in our deal. we really responded yesterday. So as long as we have a good week, the rest of this week, try to take it a little easier on them. I'd like to think that we could go in there and beat them up yesterday and today, but I mean, right now we really got to get our legs back under us, and and focus on some of the little smaller details that we can get better at without pounding on each other. So but for a kid, it's like I told him, this 3-week stretch was going to fly by. The preparation for Blackman, you're going to turn around on a short week and get to play quickly against White Station, so it's a chance to get that taste out of your mouth. And then next week, Siegel. So I mean, Siegel.
Going to a long weekend and then another short week next week because we hit the Labor Day.
That's right.
So
that's true.
You have a lot of time management going on.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, it's a good time to be a player if you're healthy, because I mean, it's like boom, boom, one after another, and they're all important and they're all big. I'm just saying, we got the short turnaround on this, and we get to have Siegel next week, and that'll be a fun week altogether. So, it'll be a tough challenge. We got to get off to a fast start. We got to make sure we get off to a fast start, take the life out of them early if we can, and try to, sustain that momentum. Again, when we created opportunities for ourselves last week, we didn't keep it on our side. We kept giving them back chances, and you can't do that against a good team. So hopefully we can fix that moving forward.
Just in pure football philosophy, what is the dangers and advantages? You were speaking about this 8-man defensive front, or lining them up and playing man like that. I mean, you don't do it, but what is the advantages and disadvantages? And talk a little bit about that, Coach McDaniel. I mean,
it's a feast or famine type thing. I mean, and everybody, it could be 7-man, 8-man, 9-man, it could be whatever you want it to be. But I mean, I'm trying to erase Blackman, and I can't get it out of my head as I'm talking to you. But Blackman, for example, I mean, somebody at some point is going to load the box on Blackman, put them all up there, and just play man, which is hard to do against Blackman because of the receivers that they have. But and just make Jawan beat you with his arm and not allow them to run the football. We try to live in a world where we try to keep a nice balance, make sure we can defend everything, but by doing so, you limit yourself in the run game, and that's what ended up eventually hurting us in that game, I guess. I know you're trying to move forward, but I'm not. I get
I'm just trying to help you.
The dilemma with Jawan is you load the box, and he's obviously got the arm to beat you throwing it, but if you don't get to him, which is hard to get to him because he's elusive, and he breaks contain and you're playing man coverage, he's running 40 yards for anybody touches him. So that's a fear for him. Now, our quarterback situation is different than his, so I mean, our quarterbacks will have to make throws. And again, not that it was the game-changing plays, but there were a couple throws he made in that game where he was scrambling around 3, 4, 5 seconds, throwing the ball back across the field, across his body, big first downs. That if he don't make those throws, they're a different ball game too. So, but like I said, best players got to play great in those games, and I thought Jawan played an outstanding game. So, anyway, with White Station, their philosophy is we're going to match up athlete for athlete on the perimeter, and we're not going to allow you just to run it down our throat. Last year they did the same thing. I mean, they're going to put all of them up there, give you a lot of different looks, try to confuse us, and then just outnumber you. I mean, bottom line is if we've got 2 backs and we've got 3 receivers, that means we're because our quarterback is not a run quarterback. He's not Jawan. So
you're two-dimensional. You're going to hand it off, or you're going to throw it.
I mean, so but from a sheer number standpoint, we're blocking with 6, and we're giving the ball off to the tailback. We're blocking with 6, and they may have 7 or 8. Well, numbers wise, that's hard to block.
Right.
With Jawan, you may be blocking with 6 or 7. And he might be the 8th guy with the run, So,
and the linebacker's got to stay home. Because if not, he takes off, and then that blows the second level pass.
That's right.
I mean, because if he doesn't, he's looking for the second level at that point.
And I think too, for us, I mean, we gotta trust our quarterbacks to make some more decisions on their own. And both of our quarterbacks are a little more athletic than they probably look. And we got to have that dimension in our offense, and we just don't have it right now.
Are you talking about they need to take a little more command of the game?
Well, I mean, I just think we got to put more on them. That we haven't allowed them to do much, and then some of that's just seeing things in coverage and whatnot. We had opportunities the other day that we didn't take advantage of, I thought, and then also allow them to be able to run a little bit. Hafner made some plays with his legs late. So I think he's got a little bit more, and I know Cody Miller does as well. So, but yeah, whether it's White Station or whoever, for us right now, until we show that we can be really dynamic, and you know what, I mean, we showed at times. George caught a screen early for a big play first series. He caught the bubble that he ran down the sidelines for about 40.
Beautiful.
He caught the post route for about 40. So George, I think he had 3 receptions for 130-something yards. George looked great. We didn't get the ball to Stevens or Oliver enough, I didn't think. And we got to get them the ball. We got to get them involved more and get them involved earlier in the game. But that being said, there's 3 ways you can either, you can live and die by the sword and say you're going to have to beat us running it, beat us throwing it, or, we're just going to try to keep a balance. And for Blackman, for them, they're not going to allow us to beat them running it. So we gotta be more efficient in the passing game. And same thing for White Station. Different defense, different philosophy, but they're gonna put them all up there and say, yeah, okay, you want to beat us throwing it. So until we show that we can beat you throwing it, then that's the dilemma we're going to be in. And we should be able to beat people throwing it, but we got to get more comfortable and more efficient and execute what we need to do. So all those are challenges moving forward. It's things that I look forward to trying to get accomplished. But I know. Look, we put as much time into the Blackman game as you could imagine. It's been going on for a long time. Are we disappointed? Heck yes. It's the end of the world? No way.
That's part of it.
Yeah, I slept fine every night. I used to really get a lot more worked up about the losses than I do now. You're going to lose. It doesn't matter. You got to get better. You got to go back to work. And it's not, at the end of the day, the record doesn't define you. It's the way that you respond in situations. So, again, I feel like we really responded to this, but it'll all be told on Friday. We got to play better Friday and then start moving forward, building some momentum, moving into the season, and then, let the chips fall where they may. So, good learning experience. It's always good to get humbled, and I think we'll take it and use it as an advantage.
New addition to Ray Hughes Stadium. You'll turn up a new big asset here, and talk a little bit about that. I mean, I don't know if the fans know it or not, but Daktronics did do a nice install and got you
seen it yet?
I have not walked back there and seen it.
It is. It's a sight to be seen. I mean, we had. One person in particular that invested a lot of time and energy in trying to get this to happen, and
he believed.
Yeah, he did, and he had the resources and the I guess he's got the personality and the Rolodex, whatever you want to say. He just got all the connections to be able to be the guy that made it happen. So all that being said, the way it all started was. In February, I approached this gentleman and said, hey, this needs to be your stamp on our program. This is something that you can get done just because of his people skills and the people he knows and just his passion for our program. All those things combined, I wanted something that was just a wow deal and be the first.
Sure.
And
it's the next step. It is the next step.
That's right.
If you don't go turf,
yeah.
And of course Pat Dye always says, "Game was invented on grass.
Yeah.
Let's keep it on grass."
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's his philosophy. You went a different direction. You could have probably took that same amount of money and started going down that turf path. Instead, you went.
Yeah, you could have. And I think for us, the reason we didn't, I don't mind explaining it. For us was. It was about half the cost, number one, so it was something that I thought we could get done right now. The longer a project drags out, the more likely it's not going to happen. This was something for us that we started in February. We spent about 2 weeks literally 2 weeks researching it, and then we came together with a couple other people. We're going to do it. It's done. Let's go for it. And turf's not that easy, even though, so all that being said, it was just something that we could get done right away. Hey, here's the goal, 6 months, it's going to be up for our first game, and let's run.
There's only 3 left in the industry. I mean, Sony doesn't make one.
Right.
You go to Mitsubishi,
Yeah.
it's Panasonic,
Yeah.
it's Daktronics.
Yeah.
Those are your 3.
And so the other reason I liked this idea better than the field turf is because once we do get it paid off, there's just that we're going to generate revenue every year that we're going to make simply by selling ads and.
Nice segue. How does if I'm somebody out there and I'm watching this, how would I go about? Do you want them to call the office, or you want
they can contact
or
me.
email? Your
me.
email is up on the faculty page.
We've already had people, since it's come out, and there's been a story on. We've had multiple people come in and ask about how to get on the board. So I think once you see it in person and you see it in a game atmosphere, people are going to be shocked. I mean, it is limitless, really, to be honest with you. And then once we start generating enough revenue, then I think the next step for us in this progression is to do the turf. But it's beautiful, man. I mean, it's not, it's a showpiece. Is it a necessity? Absolutely not. People say, well, we could be spending that on other things. Well, no, you couldn't. I mean, this was this is the first of its kind in our county. Like I said, when you come to the game and you see what it's able to do and the capabilities, and once we get really good at it, it's limitless. And it's going to really add to the fan experience on so many levels. Number one, we spent a lot of money on a new sound system. If you've ever been to our stadium, and this interview's going long, isn't it? I'm
no,
sorry.
we're good.
Right.
We're good.
But the sound system.
Don't worry about it.
But the sound system that used to be right over everybody's head, it was just muffled and just couldn't even talk to your neighbor.
Horrendous for a videographer.
Yeah, horrendous for everybody. The new sound system is incredible. It comes right out over the field. Obviously, it looks awesome. But then the commercials, player profiles, instant replay. Again, player, fan, parents, everybody, the experience is just going to go up so much higher. Whether it be a fan cam or kiss cam. I mean, it's unlimited.
I'm a member of the SMA, which stands for the Stadium Managers Association. All three of those vendors I mentioned are in that arena. I know a lot about what you're talking about, and people are going to be wowed at what this thing will do. I mean, it's like shocking your program. If you know how to use it, and it'll sell itself.
I think too, once we really get it grounded, we got a guy on campus, one of our teachers, that's really bought into helping learn the system and operate it. Once we can get a class through our video production,
absolutely.
Once we can get it set and get him comfortable, the next step is get the kids involved more. I mean, it could be a great...
Huge scholarships are out there for these kids that run video cameras, because the next step, that's what the SEC network is all about. It's about getting those students involved in the video production and promoting your collegiate status in those 31 sports and going to that level. So, I mean, there's huge...
there is potential there for students as well. So, it's just, man, we're very fortunate, very blessed to have, again, everything is timing, but the timing for us, the time was right. I had the right person in place to help get it done, that had a passion for football and wanted to help our program. And, we just weren't going to take it, or he wasn't going to take no for an answer. We were going to get it done one way or another. And just everything about the process, the way we went about having a meeting with some of the bigger companies in town. It's pretty remarkable to see the people that were willing to give, to make this thing happen. And but we pitched it in the right way. It just all came together so great, and it's exciting, man. Our kids are going to love it, and the fans are going to love it, and it's just something to be really proud of for our school.
Well, let's wrap it up. That's right here. Friday night, I'll be here. I want to see that Jumbotron. So anyway, we'll be right here. White Station is coming in. The Spartans, they lost. They'll have a little bitter taste in their mouth. Oakland lost. They'll have a bitter taste in their mouth. Somebody's coming away with a win. 7 o'clock right here, Ray Hughes Stadium. Be there.